Hey ho, it's Nat Wickham here, ready to call the South African under-23 women's game against the Australian under-23 women. Fantastic day 6 of the round-robin competition, so we're coming to the end of the round-robin competition, ready for the finals. 3 days of finals, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, with the big after-party to follow. Looks like we have, looking for the colours here, we have South Africa in white, and they'll be going from right to left of screen. Australia in black, going the opposite direction, I would hope. Okay, so 5 seconds to go. I'm really looking forward to calling this game. We'll introduce the players to you as the game progresses, and I'm sure we'll be able to share a few interesting stories about these girls to keep you entertained. Live chat, we've already got... I think, that's the last chat. I think Vamos Argentina, we want South Africa and Australia. So the game started. It is, what number game are we up to? We are, oh my goodness, we're up to game 144 of this tournament. There are 2, 4, 5 more games of the day to go. It's not as big a day as it was yesterday. We had 14 games lining up yesterday in 2 courts, so that's 28 games, 56 teams, 560 players funneling through the Aquatic Centre. And well done to the staff at the Doon Kennedy Aquatic Centre for cleaning it up for us and ready for another day of hockey. Great clarity. So what's happening in the pool? We have South Africa in their light blue bathers, making a pretty good drive on the Australian girls. The Australian girls and the South Africans jumping out and having a quick sub. One of the Bridie Hilda there, I think it is, with the puck, not wanting to give it away, looking for support, which she found. So good backing up from the Aussie players. I've played with quite a few of these girls, and they're very distinctive in the water. Go Aussie and go South Africa. Okay. Looking forward to some chat. If you are streaming the games via YouTube, which we absolutely love because it's free and you can watch it any time you like. First time ever, I think it's happened in a championships where we haven't had to pay or organise that streaming a different way. If you are streaming, get on the live chat, give me some comments, work with me, and I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you and while we're going live. So Africa looking at pulling it off the wall and we've got, hey, there's Tori Wickham. Tori Wickham, number 2, extraordinaire. One of my nieces that's playing. Stephanie, my other niece, is not in the water, but she's been playing as well. Yeah, Romy's sitting next to me having a little bit of a break. She might jump on in when she's ready. And we've got Tim as well on our mixing all our vision. And Tim's partner is playing, Emma Lamar. She's actually from Scotland, but staying with Tim in Victoria. And I might cross to Tim later on the game and he can tell me a little bit about Emma. And I would be interested to know if her parents or family are watching in Scotland. Okay, so we've got a penalty. Romy, are you ready to join me? G'day, Romy Keppel.
Hi, Nat. Nice to be here. Sorry about my silence earlier. Just enjoying sitting back and watching these girls play. Nat, I think you mentioned we're looking to a very exciting game today, Australia versus South Africa. Both of them are strong contenders for a finals position. We may even be looking at some future medalists here. Nat, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, look, I'm just bringing up the statistics for the under-23 girls. At the start of each day, we get the latest stats. This is the first game, the first and only game that these girls will play today, so this is pretty current. We've got South Africa in 2nd and Australia in 4th, and all the games that we've had today have been super close, Romy, as everyone's vying for a good position in the final seeding ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, just saw a classic Glory Days moment there. Just brought straight across the tray, so close to the lip there. Fantastic defence from the Australians keeping it out. And again, the British crossing into the centre, looking
South
to play
Africans.
on the South Africans there. Losing my mind. I've been here 6 days now. It's getting a bit long.
Yeah, Romy, I think you were here for 12 hours yesterday, am I right?
I sure was, Nat. But moving forward from that, I don't want to think too much about that now. We've had a call of chopping against the Australians.
Chopping those vegetables, Romy.
Oh, yeah. We've been talking about certain things we could be saying for the calls. I've heard Nat and Stu in here with some great ones there. Nat, what's your favourite for the tournament so far?
Well, I actually haven't called this one, but I'd be saying flapping those seagull wings there. We've got the Heimlich manoeuvre, which is that, what is it? It's barging, I don't know, grabbing, the old hug call. We've got chopping the vegetables, which is a stick infringement. And my favourite would have to be for the unsportsmanlike behaviour, and that is stroking the unicorn, which is, I don't think I need to say any more about that one. So we've got Nina. Nina's one of the coaches, Nina Barry Macaulay, who herself is a terrific player and has been away for the women's team a number of times, with an assistant coach, Hannah Robert Tissot. Did you see who called the timeout? Was it Australia? And we're only 3-4 minutes into the game. Unusual call. So she's seen something that the Australians probably need to tweak a little bit. Maybe they've been a bit undisciplined. So it's regroup. Come on, girls, let's get this cleanly out of defence.
Yeah, we'll see if Hannah's been able to rally the troops there. A strong flick from the South Africans, looking to work along that wall where the South Africans are classically always the strongest. The Australians will be wanting to pull it out into the centre of the court a bit more, playing a much more open style of hockey. Huge pressure on the Australians from the South Africans here. And it's gone in. The ref's calling something. We'll wait to see. That's a goal there for the South Africans. Number 4 there, scoring for South Africa. An early goal. Unfortunately, the Australian defence hasn't been able to clear it out. They'll be really keen to score another goal going into the second strike of the game.
Yeah, interestingly, that timeout didn't work for the Australians. Nice to see Claudia and Bridie, 2 Tasmanians, back there against the wall, just sucking it in, and they will have hated conceding that goal. Those 2 girls have played together for so many years. They know exactly how each other work, and I think we had Bridie in the fullback position and Claudia as the halfback, and they're a pretty wicked little combination. Tori Wickham will come back into fullback because that's her preferred position, and we'll see what the girls can do with 9 minutes to go in the first half.
We've got a very strong backline here from the Australians with Claudia, Bridie and Tori, as Nat mentioned, having played the previous 2 age championships in Iga, Hungary in 2013 and Castellón in Spain in 2015. 2 4th places for the Australians in both those tournaments. They'll look to move up the rankings for this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Australia, we've got such a strong competition in both our, our schools level, moving up to our state competition, our nationals we run every year, and then into our elite division. Our, we always expect to place in the top 3, and definitely for our age groups we expect the same. I know all countries do that, but we've got experience, we've got years of hockey behind us. We're not a new nation to the sport, so there's no excuses. With our sport development, we should be placing in the top 3. So an infringement against Australia called.
Yeah, a strong push of retaliation there for the Australians. Unfortunately, a no goal scored there. The Australian forwards will be feeling a bit frustrated there. You can see Sunny Sky Pascoe looking around. A little bit lost there, Sunny. She does have a way of moving around the court that is just so untraditional, often completely unstoppable. She's just so unpredictable with the puck. And the South Africans driving along the wall there.
How would you look? We've had a few terms bandied about you see some of the players do a curl and then think about, hey, I'm going to curl again. So they do a couple of curls. By the 3rd time, everyone's looking down at them thinking, wow, you're on spin cycle. That looks pretty cool. So Sunny's style of play is more your I don't know. It's like one of those sprinkler systems that just spin randomly and you never know what's gonna happen. Romy, can you think of a better way of describing Sunny's eclectic style?
Well, I'm actually convinced that she's an octopus with every one of her tentacles acting independently. Her arms just move like a windmill in so many directions. I think she just tries to hypnotise the opposition at times.
Yeah,
now.
probably confuses herself as well as the opposition. But she's a very handy player to have in the forward line. She tends to break out of the pack really well. So we've got a pushback. South Africa just been pushed back here. Australia have a chance to regroup and attack the centre, and South Africa have called a timeout. Looking at the surnames of the team, Romy, I earlier today I called the under-23 boys, and we had some kids in there, or some young men, who were sons of legends and legendaresses, I suppose you say, with the Mackenzies and the Gillespies all represented, and Yeah, I'm just looking at the names here in the women's team. I don't know if we've got many. I know we've got my two nieces.
We've got
to
Tori
plug
and
the Wickham
Steph here.
again. Go the Wickham. But do you recognise any of the other surnames of having a bit of a heritage, a lineage, I suppose, through the underwater hockey years?
Well, you know what? I'd say definitely Bridie Hilda with her brother Declan playing for the under-19 boys in Spain 2 years ago, and again for Australia in the Trans-Tasman last year. And also her father Dave, who you may have heard on the emceeing this tournament for us over loudspeakers a few times this tournament. He's a dedicated B-grade player in our Tasmanian comp.
Yeah, it's interesting that it doesn't quite flow down the same in the girls. So we'll look at the South African team now. They've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 girls that have come across to Hobart, the Doone Kennedy Hobart Aquatic Centre here at the fringe of the capital city here of Hobart. And we've got Moya Moorcroft, Thay Rudman, Jordine lovely Elfenrink, Nicole Fitzgerald, Taton Boras, Francesca Whiteman, Julia Stander, Zandre Kotzi, Eleanor de Kock, and Roche Vandermeer. Like a Vander. We've got a Vander, haven't we? Got a Vander Wood in our team. Hey, Alice. Coach Brent Borslap. Well, I like that name. That's got that makes a real statement. Borstlap.
Yeah, and of those names, I do certainly recognise number 11, Zondre. She played in Eager 4 years ago, took away a bronze medal, and again in Castellon taking away the gold, and now is aged up in the under-23 team. I imagine a few of their other players also previously medalists, and they'll be looking to equal that again this tournament. Yeah,
no, exactly. You've got a good memory for names, Romy. I tell you, over the just a couple of years that I've been playing for the World Champs, I'd be hard pushed to. I'm usually so focused on my own game, Romy, and I tend to miss a lot of the names from the opposition. Seeing a lot of familiar faces now, though, around the pool deck. A lot of the girls that I've played with in the past, in the 90s and beyond. Now coaches and managers of teams, so that's always nice. We tend to hang around us old girls and boys.
And Nat, you're not tempted at all to take up a coaching position? I'd certainly feel that you'd be a very competitive coach for these young women if you put your mind to it. Is that something you'd like to do?
Look, I've coached state league before and been quite successful with that. I love coaching, but I'm not one to push myself forward, so it's nice when other girls step up to do the coaching and share it around.
Yeah, we've had a strong team from Nina and Hannah. Nina coaching the previous 4 years that I've played, also representing Australia in the age groups in the past. I'm not quite sure which tournaments, I'm afraid, Nina. And Hannah as well, a good friend of Nina's, and they're teaming up together quite beautifully to train these young women.
Yeah, we've got a couple of combinations of coaching. The boys have, the under-23 boys have Nico, Martin and Stino, hey, hello Edward, joining together to coach those boys. And it is nice to have an assistant coach, that's for sure. Especially Nico, who's running this tournament. He's a pretty busy boy.
Yeah, Nick, of course, the fiancé of Hannah. We're looking forward to see where that goes in the future. I've heard rumours that Hannah won't be getting married until she's won a gold medal for Australia. Is that still the plan, Nat?
No, they've got their wedding plan. They're off to Flinders Island, which is an island off the north of Tasmania. Absolutely beautiful place. I haven't actually visited it, but if you ever get a chance, totally unspoilt patch of Tasmania. Lots of great seafood, crayfish, abalone just off the rocks. It's supposed to be a really nice place to visit.
Yeah, very exciting news for those guys. And maybe we'll be even looking forward to some more developing women in the under-23s in 20 years' time or so, Nat.
Yes, some bambinos. Excellent. All right, so we're still 1 and the goose egg for Australia in the scoreline there. 4 minutes to go in the first half. We've had one timeout called from Australia, and look at that. South Africans, just a beautiful chip flick. Very hard to attack the goal from that side. The Australians may have been caught napping a little bit. The South Africans won't want to, we've got 12, have we? 12 for South Africa. We have Eleanor de Kock. They won't be wanting to call a timeout. They'll just want to keep that momentum going and stamp their authority over Australia. Romy, tell me, the Australian girls, they really needed to win this to work their way up the standings. Is that right?
Actually, no, Nat. This game won't actually affect the standings at all. South Africa's sitting in second, 2 points ahead of Australia. So win or lose, RSA will finish in second, with Australia finishing in fourth.
Right.
But certainly it would be fantastic for the Australians' esteem to beat the South Africans and knock them over a little bit here.
Yeah, agreed. You know, regardless of the standings, you want to be playing the style of play in the last couple of games of the round robin that you're going to play in the finals. Yeah, look, looking at the girls, we've been talking about a lot of the hair standings of the men, and we always seem to get back to the beard, the chest hair, the belly hair even of the boys, and there's quite some formidable face rugs going on there. The Turkish, you know, lining up against those boys, I think looking across the pool would be like, whoa, my knees would be quaking at that sight. But looking at the girls, they don't seem to let their ponytails flow, Romy.
Yeah, the South Africans just getting a kick out here. It's number 7 by the look of things. 2 minutes. I didn't quite catch what she did there. On the subject of hair, Nat, I heard that you might have a new strategy for us with the hair. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was talking to Stu Parko earlier, and we tend to really get down to the nitty-gritty of underwater hockey, the important things, really. I mean, and we were talking about that's maybe there's a untapped kind of thing that we could open up here, and the old ponytail, there's nothing like this, the old squid. If you just release your ponytail at a certain time of the game and let the hair flow, it's like that squid ink. It could be a good strategy.
A diversionary tactic, you're thinking, Nat. It's a bit of a step away from the old arm in the face, something Harry Vanderwood is very fond of, getting Gary and dragging it across his opposition's face. I've seen him spend many minutes in the bench for doing that, Nat.
Yeah, him and Hannah Robert Tissot, thanks Hannah. Nice big spaghetti arms. They tend to get in the way. But yeah, that might be something we can explore. I think, you know, Romy, you've got a bit of hair action going there. Maybe I'll get you in the water and see if you can rock the spray, the fan of hair. But speaking of hair care, as anyone knows, we're in the water so much, Romy. And what's your pre-game, post-game kind of routine to keep your hair looking luscious?
Well, I'll tell you what, all through my high school and college years, I just let my hair do what it liked, Nat. It was so brittle a lot of the time, it was just falling out. And Phoebe Dolby, for the Tasmanian players, many of you will remember Phoebe, now a student at UTAS, she just inspired me with her luscious, just natural hair look, Nat.
Yeah, pretty wild. You tend to get that green tinge. But any swimmer would know, being in the water all the time, and especially with us, we're under the water too, it's hard to keep the cap in place. The hair can be looking pretty green. Okay, so what have we got here, Romy? We've just had a ref's timeout, yeah?
Yeah, we've got number 12. I can't quite see which ref that is. Number 19, that is, calling a goal. That might be Robbie. No, I'm not sure who that one is. He's called a goal, but we've had another call from number 27 there for obstruction, and he's calling a no-goal.
Okay, so the ref's pushing back Australia. And have we still got Taton Boras out, Romy? Have we still got someone sitting? Yeah, we've still got someone sitting in the bin, the sin bin for the South Africans. So, naughty girl, Taton, I'm sure you'll cop the hefty fine that the girls possibly are running in their team.
And Sunny Pascoe being a bit cheeky, talking to the ref there. I'm not quite sure that's her position in the team. She better watch herself, or she might risk spending a minute or two in the bench. Yeah, absolutely. And a great drive by Africa across the pool, which we like to see to open it up, but still caused a bit of a contest. And we've got the Heimlich manoeuvre again. Australia push back. The Africans, the number 12 there, possibly calling. Oh, we've got full time. And South Africa will go 2-0 up to Australia at the end of the first half. Australia coming very close to putting it in the tray a number of times. Unfortunately, stopped by their own infringements and also just a great defence from the South Africans now. Yeah, absolutely. Now, looking at the girls, let's look at their fins, Romy. What have we got? We're rocking the Naji fins. I know Colombia, I was watching the under-19 boys and girls, and I think 100% wear the Naji fins. And the Colombians, if you had to describe how the Colombians play, Romy, what would be 2 things you'd say about how the Colombians play? Style. I'm thinking about their warm-up, just such enthusiasm. But they're very, they like their swerves, the Colombians, and they like their curls. Talking about earlier, Nat, their washing machine curls, they just seem to like going around and around waiting for a teammate. I've seen them do 2 or 3 curls at a time, just having a good time, just living in one place. Absolutely. And a lot of their manoeuvrability and their fast takeoffs and their really intense drives, it's that initial takeoff that's important, and they get that from those smaller fins, the Naji fins. And as a sponsor for the tournament,
thank you, Najee. You've donated quite a few fins to us, and yeah, they're pretty unbreakable, those guys. So should we plug a few sponsors and have a bit of fun with this, Romy? Who have we got?
Well, certainly we should start by thanking the Doon Kennedy Aquatic Centre. As you can see, the pool is just crystal clear today. We've had some wonderful shots of the pool, barely any obstruction of the cameras at all, and that's thanks to the Aquatic Centre staff just cleaning the pool every day. They're here early, they're here late, cleaning the pool, making sure we can see the court really well. So many thanks to the Hobart Aquatic Centre.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Tasmanian State Government, Tourism Tasmania, always something going on in Hobart. They've supported us, which is terrific. We've got Vertex, which you can see in the bottom right hand of the screen. They've supplied the ref shirts and the volunteer shirts, a lovely shade of purple. And We & Co feeding the volunteers and the refs, doing a terrific job. Thanks, Maria, for organising your team. And I think we've taken on board Sarah as well, who's also providing some delicious treats. And who else have we got there, Romy?
Yeah, just a shout out to our GoFundMe campaign. All of the streaming is being provided free to you, of course. One of the first times ever that this has happened. We really hope you're appreciating all the hard work being put in. A whole staff of volunteers. None of us in the commentary box are getting paid. We're just here because we love the sport. But if you do like the streaming, if you're pleased with what you've seen, we'd really appreciate any money you can donate to us. Will all go towards this wonderful sport that we love.
Yeah, and if you're, as you can see from the pool deck there, we're in Court 2, which is down in the change room end of the Aquatic Centre. Behind the camera that you're viewing from, there's actually another 25-metre pool and a fun pool for all the general public. And we've got a big screen pointing back to the general public, and they're hearing this stream. So g'day to all the Hobartians that are enjoying their school holidays and watching the underwater hockey spectacle that is the 4th World Age Group Underwater Hockey Championships. Woohoo! Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, and commencing now the second half of this clash between the under-23 women, South Africa versus Australia. Beautiful switch there from Tori Rickham, trying to flick it past the South Africans there, but shut down, unfortunately unable to find her teammate.
Yeah, nice work. We've got Liz, Marley, Julie, all on the live chat. Taton, I like your way you've shown us how to pronounce that. Lots of support there for your girls. Good work. I'm wondering what time it is in South Africa. Could you pop on the live chat what time it is in your beautiful part of the world? I was in Stellenbosch last year for the World Champs there, and you were very lucky. You've got some beautiful countryside.
Another excellent switch there from the Australians. They've really seemed to open it up already in the first minute of the second half. Good to see them trying to break away from the South African dominance of the first half by moving the puck to where they want it, cutting into the centre corridor now. Unfortunately stopped there by the South Africans, and they'll be very keen to keep it on the wall where they are the strongest. Cutting again into the centre, and again shut down. The South African defence have been really impressive, taking it into the corner, keeping it away from the Australians' net.
Yeah. Okay, so we've still got the goose egg for Australia. We really want that to hatch, and we want the goose to come out and form a nice big one for Aussie and to keep on growing so we can, pass the South Africans' shiny shoe number 2. 2-0. It's still anyone's game. The door is well and truly still open.
Yeah, and interesting to see the way the South Africans set up on these free pucks. Now, we've seen a lot of combinations for these free pucks. The South Africans all sitting behind the puck for this one. What's your favourite?
Yeah, good question. It is an interesting one. It's supposed to be the advantage for the team taking the puck, but quite often it's just shut down by the opposition. So you can either sit behind the puck and all swim onto the puck as it's flicked. You can have 3 girls in front, spread out or tight, like sometimes the Tassie girl, well, a lot of the time the Tassie girls like to do. And I'm not convinced which one is the best. I suppose you've just got to look at your opposition and make that call at the time.
We've had a kick out here for Australia. Just wait to see. I should recognise her, but unfortunately...
I can't recognise that swimming. Is it Claude?
No.
Is it the big Claude?
I don't think it's... oh, no, it will be. No, that's... What a surprise. It's Sunny Sky Pascoe.
Hey, it's Octopus
the
Girl. There you go. And looking a bit, reclining a bit too relaxed there, Sunny. Now, what we want to see, Dave Lambert was saying earlier, Romy, and Dave Lambert's a bit of a legend of the sport.
Bit of a whiz there.
Yeah, absolutely. He, all the games that he called over the last 2 days, when someone subbed in from, or not subbed in, but got back into the water after being sin-binned, if the game was actually being played at that time, every single time they scored. So that little rest and a little bit of self-reflection sometimes works wonders.
And if anyone can do it, I've no doubt that it is Sunny. She is such an aggressive and strong player on the puck. And I'll tell you what now, she just loves to get a goal.
Yeah, I reckon that where she's winding the spring there, ready to just burst out of the blocks.
Bring out the octopus.
Arms and legs. Yeah, terrific. So it looks like, do we have a timeout called there?
I think we've got a refs timeout. The clock seems to be counting up. Not too sure what's going on.
So resetting, Aussie girls coming up to the puck. It's going to be a Aussie free. Did you see how many minutes that Sunny was thrown out for? Was just the one there, Tim? Excellent. So setting up, you see the girls going across into the front of goals, setting up there nicely for the drive into the tray, trough, bin, net, hole or tin.
Yeah, well cut into the centre there by the Australians. Unfortunately pushed to the far wall by South Africa. And they're, as I said, they're very strong on the wall. The Australians will be keen to keep it out of there as best they can and keep it running along the corridors where they are definitely the more dominant team.
Yeah, okay. The South African girls are super strong and which I suppose... we have. And cut down.
Excellent defence.
Yeah,
I
think
can't
that was
quite
Claude.
see. That looked like Claudia to me.
It did. Little compact Claudia. She wind her up and she just goes. She's very close to the bottom, hard to steal off, and just has some really whippy, close body moves.
Interestingly brought into the centre there by South Africa. I wouldn't have been surprised at all then if they tried to just bash it down that back wall.
Oh, danger, Will Robbins.
So strong there from number 6 by South Africa by the looks of things.
6 or 8 there, Romy. Oh, no.
Number 9, in fact.
Our eyes are doing well. Tori just having a quiet, polite word to the team. Yeah, doing a good job, girls? No, I don't think so. She's actually doing a bit of a shake of the head and having a little bit of time in the sub-bench. So, yeah, Tori, go and collect your thoughts and get back in the water with a fresh, positive approach.
Yeah, a number of games I've watched for the Australian women. I'm seeing Bridie Hilda, the last girl to pop up every time a goal is conceded against the Australians. I'm wondering if she's getting caught on her own a bit because she's looking exhausted every time she comes to the surface. Yeah,
I tend to agree. She's subbing in as the fullback when when that's happening. Looks like Claudia's ready to get in. Francesca must be pretty happy with herself. Well done, the Whitemans at home. Yeah, nice, Fran. Excellent. Yeah, nice chat. Thanks for that, guys. We've got a fair bit of support, obviously, from South Africa. We still don't know what time it is over there. Don't forget to pop that on the chat. And okay. All right, we've got our fantastic logo happening there in the bottom left-hand side of the screen with the two eels slithering together around the bats, and that's from Poco People. Lee Marie Stinson did the design from Western Australia and put it together on our fantastic merchandise.
Excellent swim and a curl there from the Australian girl. It looked to me like Emily, but I wouldn't have been surprised if that was Olivia Sanderson as well. Very classic for Olivia to get those runaway goals. She's a very quick swimmer.
Yeah, super fast through the water, Liv. Played with Liv in a few nationals campaigns, and she's always a handy forward to have. You kind of just have to hold her back, and when there's a space, just let her go. And she's like a greyhound out of the starters blocks.
We've got a double switch there. It looked to be
go Tori.
Initiated by Cammy, and unfortunately pulling back into the centre, but going again strong from the Australians. Well anticipated by Tori Wickham.
Yeah, you can see what Tori was trying to do there. She went to lead out, but thought, no, I'm going to actually duck back on the inside just to change the body position of the Africans and then flick it out wide, and it didn't quite come off as well as she thought it was going to, but that's definitely a signature move of young Tors.
And it looks like a family member of Zondre number 11 for the South Africans telling it's just on 7 a.m, so good on you guys for getting up so early to support your girls.
We're going to be late for work. Excellent to see your priorities lie with the girls in underwater hockey. Yeah, looks like we're pushing back the Africans again. It's right in front of the refs. And we've got a timeout called by South Africa.
Yeah, nice little ballerina move there from the referee, isn't it?
Yeah, it is too, actually. Nice call, Romy. I like that. We've got 3-0. It's still anyone's game. We've got 9 minutes pretty much remaining of the game time. The Australians want to perfect their strategies, and score some goals, because they've got to show that they can score goals before the finals start tomorrow. So yeah, we've got how many more games left of the day? I think 4 more games. This is nice, Romy. I mean, at 2:30 yesterday, we were only halfway through, and I was ready for a little nap. Actually, I think I did take a little nap. Yep, it's on Facebook. Whoops. Yeah, that's right, with my friend the kangaroo. Speaking of blow-up toys.
I know where you're going with this, Nat.
Yeah, well, what have you seen around the pool? We're a bit disappointed with a few teams, but we're at the other side of the coin, there's a few teams that are doing it well.
Yeah, we've seen Eric the Elephant there looking a bit ill the last few days, actually. I've heard Stu being quite disparaging of some teams not being very creative with their stolen milk crates. I'm surprised he hasn't called the police on them yet, Nat.
Yeah, I think he might have done in one of the last games earlier this morning, said that, made the call that the milk crate's been stolen from the back of supermarkets. Doesn't cut the mustard here, Romy. We want to see people, there's still a couple of days left, we want to see them go out to the shops, buy some rubber, blow it up and put your drink bottles in it, because Eric the Elephant from Great Britain, they rub him every time they go out, and he seems to be giving them a lot of good luck and good vibe. I think we've got a duck happening from some of the teams, but it needs to be ramped up, that's for sure.
There's a shark from South Africa. I don't know his name. I've just been calling him Sharky McSharkface.
Well done. Sharky McSharkface. I like it.
Bit of a glory days moment there from the Australians, as well as they drive across their own tray. Quite brave. Takes a lot of courage to do that, and faith in your teammates to back you up, Nat.
Yeah, madness or courage, I'm not quite sure, but it's always nice when you're in a team that has someone that can just go the bit of the berserker, the frothy mouth and the red eyes, and just say, I'm taking this puck, and across the danger zone and out the other side.
Who do you reckon that might be for the Australians, Nat? We've got a few girls who are...
Oh, there's a lot of potential in the Australian girls for a bit of that berserker happening. Dearie me, there's a stroke on the unicorn. Oh. We've got some unsportsmanlike behaviour. I think that's Claudia again.
Look like Claudia to me.
Claudia. She's a quiet girl on the team, and as we so often know, that's the quiet ones you got to look out for.
Big flick there as well from Claudia, so I wouldn't be surprised if she got a little bit too close to a player's head then, Nat.
Yeah, tell you what, she's not going to be fined just by her team. I think I'll be giving her a bit of a hard time as well. And Bridie, love your work, Bridie. You just need someone on the other side, and bam, just as we speak, one of the girls from Aussie Oz come down, double team the South African and run it down the wall. Got a couple of new subs getting in, and they're just rotating. The Africans are so strong here, Romy. Look at this composure. Go Tors.
Yeah, being caught alone there, Tori, but we can just see in the background there we've got a defender. I think that might be Bridie come down waiting for the puck to spill out. Looks like Liv Sanderson. We've had a call there from the ref. Bit of bear hugging there, Nat, from the South Africans. And number 4, it looks, will be spending a bit of time on the bench there from that infringement.
Okay, so number 4, Jordan Elfrink. There's a lot of South Africa have brought a lot of family members over. I've been commentating a lot with Hein, and he's got 4 sons. All 4 play underwater hockey, and 2 of them are here in the age group championships. I must catch up with Hein because I think his son may have been sin-binned, and he wasn't a happy boy.
Yeah,
I think he dropped the F-bomb, Romy.
Now, if he was on the Australian team, we might expect him to have the dummy spit, Nat.
Oh yeah, have to wear the dummy until someone else loses their temper. All the teams have different ways of having a bit of a laugh at themselves, or patting themselves on the back after the game with either rewards or making a bit of fun of someone that might have lost their temper or been in the sin bin too much. I just saw Claudia there. Do you see that? Looking rather pensive.
And can you tell us a bit about what the Canadians do, Nat? I hear it's quite sweet.
Yeah, look, I would, but I'm not going to the hairy beaver again for a little while because the conversation just got a little bit out of hand last time, Romy. We must do our research before the next game and go and ask some teams about what they do, whether they do an MVP or whether they do a dummy spit, and what the punishment is for being in the sin bin.
Yeah, perhaps the Australians could have a hairy koala for the most valuable player.
Yeah, we just don't do that. We don't pump each other's tyres up, Romy. We tend to actually knock each other down, which the more you knock someone down in Australia, I think the more you love them. So if we sound like we might be making fun of people, it's not at all. It's actually we love you, and it's our way of giving them a virtual hug.
Yeah, taken to the far wall there. Now, Nat, we've got a few younger girls on this team, or girls just aging up into the under-19s. There's Stephanie Wickham, obviously, played for the under-19s in Castellon. Mathilde is new to the team. Little Emily Taylor, she's just 15, perhaps turning 16 this year. Taking a wonderful number 10. Such a fantastic number for these teams.
Hey, no, come on, number 5. Yeah, you're mine. Yeah, Mathilda. Is that Matilda with an H?
Yeah, and we've got Sarah as well, number 8, coming up again from the under-19s team, playing in Castellon. And again, another switch, but forced to pull out of it. Dangerous move there. Flicked well into the corner, though, Nat.
The Aussies, you'd think, would be fairly happy with their defence, but that conversion into forward movement, it's really lacking, Romy. The coaches will be watching this game and thinking, what can we tell the girls to convert this defensive play into attacking play? It's a great opposition in South Africa. What a fantastic unit of girls. Really impressive hockey. But, the Australians have to think, well, how can we break it? Because it's not good enough just finishing with a 3-0 finish.
Yeah, and we've had another kick out for South Africa. Not unexpected from the South African teams. They do like to use their bodies quite a lot in this game. But something they might want to look at and tidy up the next time they play. Yeah,
absolutely. So we've got... we were just talking earlier about the 6 cameras in the pool for each court. So we've got 4 actually in water, 2 out water, giving the best vision for the live streaming. This is such a good tool for anyone that's learning underwater hockey, anyone that's trying to promote underwater hockey, and again for the coaches to be able to analyse different styles of play. This is going to be invaluable for the lead up to the Elite Worlds in Canada. And can you remember which state or city that the Elite Worlds are in, Romy?
It's Quebec, I think, now.
Quebec, yeah, okay. And which coast is that on? That's the...
Oh gosh, I should really know this.
Yeah, I know I should as well. Definitely, I'll just quickly have a check.
I've got a feeling it's the East Coast.
Okay. And then in Sheffield, in a 2.6 metre deep pool for the age championships, and Quebec will be a 3 metre pool.
Yeah, with the 3 metre pool, Nat, are you a bit worried about what that kind of pressure might be doing to some players' ears?
Yeah, interesting. Your greatest change of pressure is in that initial stages of going down. I think your body adjusts to it pretty quickly. There we go. Claude's often swimming. She's just such a relaxed style across the pool there. Just taking it far too easy, Claude. So we've got Tim. Yeah, next to us, who's doing our mixing, and like I said, his girlfriend is Emma Limar, and she's from Scotland. Tim, tell us, was she playing? She was obviously playing underwater hockey in Scotland.
Yeah, she represented the GB in the Spain Worlds recently.
Oh wow, fantastic! So the GB girls, have they caught up with her at all during this tournament?
There have been some chats, but since Australia won the game yesterday, I think. They've been a bit salty, and
yeah, I like it.
Contention.
Yeah, a little bit of salt. I like that. A little bit of salt in the wound. All right. It'll be different at the after party, I'm sure.
Yeah, and GB, of course, robbing Australia of their bronze medal in Castellon, and so the Australians will be feeling pretty good about beating them in that grub match. And we've got a foul called. Referee timeout while they come to discuss. Obviously, 2 refs have seen something quite different. Oh, no, hang on. It looks like we've got a team called timeout. My apologies.
Now we've my son, who's just sitting in the commentary box at the moment. Young Edward, 16 years old. He just said to me, "Mum, have you noticed the beanie on the Colombian coach and Canadian? Sorry." And I said, "Yeah, of course I have. That's the lumberjack, Andrew or Michael. I can't remember. I think it might be Andrew. And he rocks the red and white beanie with his speedos, a little bit of tummy hair happening. He's a bit like Yogi Bear. And those girls and he went off to Mona, the Museum of New and Old Art, yesterday, and he would have fit in quite well in his little slippers, his speedos, and his red and white beanie. It's if you haven't been to Mona, make sure you get out there. It's just an absolute bonus for Tasmania, and Walshy there has set that up so well with a lot of his own money. It's definitely a massive draw card for Tassie.
Yeah, and just coming off the back of Dark Mofo a few weeks ago here, Nat, bit of controversy with the sacrificial bull, I know, caused quite a stir in Hobart, but it does rake in the tourists, and it's so fantastic for both the Australian tourism and the Australian economy.
Yeah, definitely. Hobart has so much in winter that you can see and do, and it's usually the winter days are very still and clear, and you can get out in the dew, and it's like glass. It's just great for your kayaking and canoeing and jet skiing. Mind you, the water temperature is around 14 degrees. And just after, like you're saying, the Mona Winter Feast on Fest, we had the Huon Winter Fest, which was, I think they got 20,000 people down to Willie's Apple Shed. You park in the paddock, you get into the shed, you sing, you dance, and you eat some really good food and drink some really good cider and wine, all local produce. So if you haven't been to Hobart, this is a good time to travel.
Yeah, and just a minute left of this game now, and it looks like it will be South Africa defeating Australia unless something changes in the next minute. We've seen a very strong game from the South African side. I wouldn't necessarily say they've dominated the Australian zone, Nat. They've been very close a number of times to sinking a goal.
Yeah, I think probably not dominated, but definitely shut down. They've been shutting the door and turning the key in the lock. And Australia need to find that key and open it back up again. So this will be their one and only game today. They'll all go home and rest and get ready for the big finals. And it's a totally, we've had 6 days of full-on competition, Romy. So, up to 12 hours here at the pool. And we think we know what the styles are going to be like in the finals. But it is always very, very different.
Yeah, you can never tell with finals hockey. I was talking to their captain, Sarah Walker, before this game. She tells me that they'll be playing GB in the first semi-final, which kicks off tomorrow. Australia did defeat Great Britain 1-0 in their last clash, but as Nat says, with finals hockey, you just never know how the game will play out.
So, Romy, you fancy going pool deck to throw a few interviews out there, seeing as the girls would like to talk to you.
Yeah, wonderful, Nat. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Great to be here. I'll see if I can go rustle up some interviews.
Excellent, Romy. Always nice to commentate with you. Your insight into the game is always really invaluable. Being in this, a player that could be playing in these games. And Romy, just a little bit of aside, Romy's going off with a university scholarship to America, to Rhode Island, I think it is, and she'll be gone for the next 4 years. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see her in Sheffield playing for, dare I say it, the United States. Very handy player. So crossing to Romy on the deck, Nat Wickham saying ta-ta.
All right, I'm down here on the pool deck with number 9 from South Africa, Francesca. Can you tell me a bit about that game? You just won 3-0 against Australia. Is it what you were expecting?
Yeah, it was what we were expecting. It was a tough game, but we played really well as a team. Australia definitely gave us a run for our money.
Yeah, and I saw you in the sin bin there once or twice, and I did see you get a pretty superb goal. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I was chucked in the sin bin for a dangerous flick and a little bit of gloving. And then I had a runaway goal, and eventually we scored in the end, so it was a really good goal.
Yeah, very impressive to defeat Australia 3-0. Do you think you'll face them again? And if you do, will you play like you did just now?
I think we would like to face them again, and I definitely think we'd need to pick up our game, but they played really well.
Yeah, and as I said, very impressive. The South Africans looking very strong in this tournament. Now, do you have any messages you'd like to send to your family? Where are you from in South Africa?
I live in Cape Town. I'd just like to say hi to my parents and everybody watching, and thank you so much for all the support. And thank you to Nicholas for waking up early, Kenneth for waking up early, and Volku for waking up early. We love you lots.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Francesca. Well done, and good luck for the finals tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
And I'll just see if I can find an Australian who's keen to chat now. Hold on with me if you can, guys. Got 1 minute left. We'll see what we can do. Looks like the Australians might just want a bit of time to recoup and recover after that very difficult game for both sides. We might just leave the stream here, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow in finals.